But yeah, Brittney Griner, you said?
Yes, Brittney Griner
She got 9 years.
sentenced to 9 years in Russian prison.
They said this how Brittney Griner was sleeping. He was in Russian prison.
Yeah, this is an interesting one actually.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack. Not really a lot, but
it's interesting on both sides on all the arguments. But I'm sure people already know the story at this point. But Brittney Griner is a WNBA player in America, and she plays overseas in European leagues, and was playing in Russia for money, to get more money in the summer. Some people do that, like the Antetokounmpo boys are in Greece right now playing. So some basketball players do that to stay healthy and stay in shape for the season, and also to make money too as well.
I think we talked about this before, but people were trying to blame, oh, she wouldn't even have been in Russia if you guys if the WNBA made money, and then the people in the comments were like, name your 5 top teams. Who are your favorite players? This, their stats. And then crickets. Like, exactly. Because you guys don't go to NBA games. Where's your jersey at? WNBA games. You guys, I never see no woman courtside. No jerseys. I don't see nobody ever wearing a WNBA jersey in my life. And not a woman, at least. So it's like, stop. Like, look how they try to blame.
Wait, I have a whole... They try to blame men for the WNBA.
For her being in jail.
Yeah. We could do a whole other one. Because we're watching the Bill Burr special, and I've seen people already do YouTube videos of it. I haven't watched them, but I at least see the titles. Mm-hmm. We could talk about that afterwards, about how women failed the WNBA.
Yeah, they did. I thought we was supporting our
fellow women. Because we'll save that for after.
Yeah, I'll stick to this.
So Brittney Griner, whatever, the money thing, we can discuss that in a second. But she got 9 years for carrying some contraband. It was a weed pen.
Yeah, and apparently it was a mistake. She packed it by mistake. Even if she did, double check your bags. Like, you're going to a crazy country in the middle of a war. Like,
yeah. So, yeah, there is actually a decent amount. So I think first and foremost, we could do the travel thing. So,
yeah,
America is its own country. The principles and rules that apply in America don't apply to the rest of the world. Like, it doesn't. It doesn't apply the same way it does even in Canada, and it doesn't apply to the same way in Mexico. Like, if
even within our states are self-governed. You could take states have different laws.
Yeah, the states within our own country are all considered independent, basically, and then there's the overall federal laws that everybody has to abide by. But underneath that is all the state to state is different. You see with abortion, some states can make abortion legal, and some states don't. Guns.
Some you can walk around.
Fireworks. In Pennsylvania. They can't. The fireworks laws are different than they are in Jersey. So if you're in Jersey, you go to Pennsylvania to get fireworks and then bring them back because they don't sell them here in New Jersey. Like, every place has its own rules. Yeah. Like, and everything works differently. Like, the toughest person from the Bronx wouldn't be able to get off what they get off in New York and Mexico. Like, everything works differently.
Like, that's why, unfortunately, with our people, it's always so. A lot of them are so ignorant when they travel to these countries, and then they act so shook and like so mad. Free her for no. Whoa. I mean, I think the time is excessive. Yeah, and I feel like they're also trying, they're mad. They hate us right now, the Russia. So they're trying to make a point. Yeah. So I agree. Yeah, we should free her, and her time is a little excessive. But still, like, all this could have been avoided if you just listen.
To continue, every place has its own rules. So North America has closer rules and regulations. Like, we have our stock exchanges tend to typically align and stuff like that.
The Caribbean is very much kind of close.
Right. The proximity, all the rules are pretty much the same. South America is a completely different place. Europe is a completely different place. Africa, all these different places are completely different. So when you're traveling, you should understand the rules and the laws. Like, you can't do certain things in certain places. Some places are very religious and they don't play those things. Yeah. Some places you shouldn't have your phone in your hand walking and typing because you might get your phone stolen. You might get killed. Yeah. There's certain things. So not even just the legal part of it, but just street smarts in other countries. You have to pay attention to those things. So never pull up to a place and you don't know what the rules and regulations are. Don't show up to the UK and not know what a prime minister is. Yeah. Know what their government is.
Like, people don't realize, like, even if it's beyond law things, just simple, like, the basics of where you're going. And that's why yesterday I was so focused on trying to understand between the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and then, England, like all the different things and what they all, what they all actually are. Because like being ignorant is not funny. Like it's not cute. People think it's, oh yeah, I didn't know this wasn't, the UK wasn't like one, like, wasn't where London, well, London is in the UK, but like people be like, oh, I didn't know England was like the actual country that London was in. Like in the UK is something different. Like it's 3 countries. So it's like, or what is it, 3.5? Because it's Northern Ireland. It's Scotland, Wales, England, and then Northern Ireland, so 3.5. So it's like that's why I try to learn those things, because like when you go to those places, like beyond the laws, you just look stupid. Like they're probably like, this is like, that's why Americans are so hated all around, because it's like people see us as this inflated, egotistic, inflated importance of people. It's like, nah, you in another country, like this is our land. Like don't play over here. And sometimes they try to like, they love the tourism that they get from us, so they try to like pander to us a little bit. But it's like, you're not always gonna get that, and you don't want to take no risk, because some countries don't care. They're like, I don't care about no American. Like,
yeah,
send they you to
hate.
jail.
Yeah, Americans are hated everywhere in the world.
They'll look for a reason to put you under.
Yeah,
they can.
They like the tourism, and even that is iffy, because they don't necessarily like what comes with the tourism, but they like the money. So that's the first thing.
And that's why I started to interrupt. That's why I was getting annoyed, because like I see so many people on Twitter, especially our people, that are like, why are you guys acting like you look up the laws before you go? I'm like, a lot of us do. Are you stupid? Like, I'm not playing with my freedom. Like, you just like, why are you flexing your ignorance?
When we were in St. Martin, I told you I looked up the laws and how much jail that they can jail you essentially for an undisclosed amount of time for no reason.
Oh yeah. I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
I look up the laws everywhere.
It's like,
the last place
I'm not playing with my life. Like, are you guys like, it's not a flex.
The last place an American wants to get arrested is in a foreign country.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to get the embassy involved to hopefully help you if they can, and that's not even guaranteed.
And that's why, like, I was like responding to some of these tweets. I'm like, I mentioned this on the pod before. Like, we're going to Dubai next month. I've been reading those laws up and down. Like, you can't curse in public. You have to be conservative in certain areas. PDA you can't do in certain areas. Like, I'm not playing with my freedom. I'm not about to get stuck in Dubai jail. And everybody who knows 56 nights, like, they don't play around over there. You have 0.1 gram. You have anything, any little scraping, you going to jail, and you going to jail for a long time. Like, that's why I keep saying that. I really hope my sisters don't try to play or make sure her bag is clean, because that stuff is no joke. And it's like, is it worth going to jail and having like 9 years because you want to smoke? Like, weed is not that good. It's not that serious.
Now the thing is, people have. The other point that people have brought up is the point about the law being stupid.
It's their law. Like, what are you going to do? It's their law.
That's
you could think it's stupid, but it doesn't matter.
That's a separate argument.
Like,
it's a separate argument. Like, yeah. So
who cares what you think? It's their law. Like, you might think it's stupid, okay, but follow it. Like, I think a lot of things are stupid, but do I still follow the law and still do what I need to do to make sure I live a life of freedom? Like, who cares what you think? You still got 9 years. Like. It is not funny, but I honestly don't be feeling bad for people, because it's like, this weed is not that serious. And it's so disrespectful to just come to these countries and just do whatever you want to do. It's just it's annoying. And like I said, if we was in jail, Brittney Griner, whatever her name is, would not even care. I could tell you that if some regular American was in jail, you wouldn't hear a peep.
She probably wouldn't, and the part that I didn't like about that argument is making that assumption.
That's true. But we don't know.
I also do highly doubt that she was aware of the Marine that's currently in Russia jail that they're trying to package her with to send out. Like, I haven't seen anybody.
But that's my thing, though. Like, even if that's kind of like common sense, though. Like, you're like, all right, there's this crazy war going on right now between Ukraine and Russia,
that's
right?
The other part, yeah.
And it's like, like, this is common knowledge, kind of, because people are so outraged about how much America's giving to Ukraine. So they support Ukraine in this. And you're gonna go to Russia and not make sure that you read the laws to make sure that you don't get caught up in something. Like, you're a WNBA player. Like, you're somebody kind of like importance, I guess, And you're gonna go to this country and not make sure that you follow everything, so they don't get nothing on you to try to bring you into this into this war. Like, no. Yeah,
they're using her as a bargaining chip. Mm-hmm. They're going to make the trade. Russia's going to trade the Marine and Brittney for the arms dealer in the U.S. They're going to make that trade.
Biden just released a statement.
Yeah, they gave her 9 years to push the trade faster, because 9 years versus them saying, oh, we're only going to give her a year. The U.S. might leave her in there for a year. Like, they might not be as much of an emphasis, so they don't have to make that trade. But giving her 9 years will force the U.S.'s hand to make that trade. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't wish people to be placed in jail, but at the same time, you do have to take some level of responsibility for your actions, whether you agree with the law or not. Like, it's you can have that debate later, because that's like if I feel like I should be able to fly with a gun to another country because it'll make me feel safer, that doesn't mean that I should fly with a gun to make me feel safer, because that's not what the rule is.
My whole thing is, what's the other option? You could stay home. Like, I could respect there's a lot of black people. They'll be like, oh, I'm never stepping a foot in Dubai because they do a lot. Okay,
yeah, then
don't. Like, and I respect that. Like, good. Sense. If you don't, if you know you're not gonna respect the laws, then stay home. Kudos to you. However, I'm going to Dubai because I want to see the world, and I'm gonna conform to wherever I'm at and respect them and their land. Like, you sound like a colonizer, saying I'm not gonna respect the laws. Like, you literally sound like the colonizer. Like, it's hypocritical and weird. Like.
Yep. Well, hopefully everything works out as it should.
I hope she comes home. Like, that's rough, because I know Russian prison is probably crazy. She's probably traumatized her life. Honestly, like, I feel bad, but it's like you gotta follow the laws. Like, it's really simple. Being
in a Russian prison, and after and I'm gonna be careful with my words here, because the U.S. didn't do anything to Russia that was not justified.
Yeah.
But from the perspective of somebody in Russia, the U.S. as well as the U.K. and pretty much every other country in Europe, pretty much everybody in the whole world except China, condemned Russia for what they were doing, pulled all their business out of Russia, basically completely tanked their economy, isolated them from the world, and Russia was able to bounce back pretty quickly. Actually, to be honest, I'm pretty sure the ruble went up in value. It declined to nothing, and then
I forgot that they have different currency. I don't know why I thought they had euros.
No, absolutely not. Jeez.
Yeah, wait, am I dumb?
Absolutely not. Definitely not in the EU.
Yeah, stupid. Wait, what's the other thing? Euros. What's the UK have?
The
pound.
Yeah, the pound, and there's francs.
Francs is gone now.
Oh yeah, it is gone now.
My dad, literally every time my dad when we was in Germany, remember I told you he lived there when he was in the army. When we went back, he kept saying, "Oh, what?" Like, he kept saying francs or francs or whatever, and they were like, no, it's euros now.
Yeah. But yeah, from the perspective of somebody in Russia, I would imagine their perspective is the U.S. tried to ruin Russia.
Yeah.
And technically, I mean, like, if you really think about it, the U.S. and it's not like these things aren't justified. We could debate politics all day, but the U.S. is giving Ukraine.
They're supporting ops.
They're literally giving Ukraine guns to kill, like, and weapons to kill Russians. Yeah. So you can look at that however you want, but from the perspective of a Russian, I would imagine that that's how they would feel about Brittney in prison. So exactly. I'm sure it's tough. So do you think
Americans are tourists are going there right now?
I'm sure they are.
I mean, none of this is happening, so clearly people are following the laws. Like, they don't give them that leverage. Like, it just makes me so mad. And the fact that she's black, it just adds more to it. It's like, oh, when the white girl was there with 7 grams, they only gave her like 2 months. Or 7 months, something like that, and like, so now they're trying to make it a black thing. It's not. It's not a black thing. This is a war thing. Like, when was that? Do that.
When was that?
Like, years ago.
Yeah, Russia.
Like, this is a war thing. Like, this has nothing to do with her being black. I'm usually all on the side of black power, of course, but this is not a black thing. This is a war thing.
It's a bargaining chip. She just got caught. They would have done this with anybody, because
literally,
you see that, like, the Marine is still there. Yeah,
let's not do that.
Russia just doesn't like the U.S., and we have a long history of not liking each other after World War II.
Yeah.
Even during World War II, Russia and the U.S. weren't really.
Wasn't Trump and what's his name?
Putin? They were cordial.
Cordial, yeah. I think he was trying. I think Trump was trying. But yeah, that's always been beef with Russia, though.
Yeah, but hopefully everything works out well. But, you know, it's not without critique. And again, you can debate the laws all day. Avoided. You could debate the laws all day, but I can promise you that if she didn't have anything on her, she wouldn't be in jail.
She would be home, sleeping comfortably in her bed with her wife.
And that's just the fact of it at the end of the day. Yeah. But yeah, we don't want to see people in jail, but please follow the rules in these other countries.
Yeah, don't take it like as a joke. It's not funny.
Like, their prisons aren't like ours, where you're getting good lunch. And I know U.S. prisons can be rough in terms of what goes on inside, but
way better what they got here.
Poverty in the U.S. and jails in the U.S. are way better than the best places. Yeah, the worst U.S. jail is way better than the best jail in another country.
Yeah. And that's your life. Like, don't play.
It's dangerous. People get killed in jail all the time.
I'm literally, like, before we go to Dubai, I'm going to be reading those laws on the plane. Like, I'm not playing around.
I don't even really want to go.
We can't even hug. Like, they say you can't even hug in some places.
Yeah, I don't even really want to go.
I mean, we'll be fine because Dubai is a tourist city, so a lot of where we're gonna be at, these laws don't apply. But the weed stuff for sure applies. The cursing, it probably depends. But a lot of the stuff that's the really strict stuff is in the conservative parts, which is we're only going to like old Dubai one day to trip. Like, and when we go over there and when we go to the mosque, of course we got to be respectful, but just gotta be smart. People have a good time there. People go back there multiple times, so it's like it's just all about just being smart. Doing things I don't curse like that anyway, so it's not like anything that you get in trouble for over there. It's really what we do.